We're going now, I think we're going to Westminster, where we can speak to Liz Truss, one of the final two candidates. And well done. What did it feel like getting across the line?
Very, very, very positive. We're now going into the campaign in the country. I'm very much looking forward to that and putting my case across that we need a bold new economic policy. We need to take full advantage of all the opportunities of Brexit. We need to cut taxes and we need to deliver for all the people right across the United Kingdom.
And talking of taking advantage of opportunities, we're really pleased you've chosen to come on GBNews this morning because a huge number of our viewers and our listeners are in fact Conservative Party members who will decide ultimately how you do. We've conducted our own poll this morning, haven't we, Eamon? Not scientific, but we've conducted our own poll, who they'd like to see at number 10 amongst our viewers and listeners. 82% behind you, I should tell you. But my question is whether or not that will work with the wider electorate. And of course, Rishi Sunak this morning briefing quite widely that he thinks if the membership choose you, then Keir Starmer would win at a general election.
What people right across Britain care about is how we are going to help them with the cost of living, how we're going to unleash opportunity. And I'm somebody who can get things done in government. I've shown that I'm willing to push things through Whitehall. And that's why we need to cut taxes. We shouldn't have raised national insurance in the first place. We need to cut it now. We need a moratorium on the green energy levy to cut people's fuel bills. And we need to power recovery by attracting investment, getting new businesses to set up. So if we carry on with our current economic policy that is currently projected to lead to a recession, that will not put us in a good place to win the election. I'm somebody who can get things done, get the economy growing, put us on a positive footing. But I can also relate to people right across the country. I grew up in Paisley and Leeds. I went to a comprehensive school. I understand the struggles people are facing now. And I'm the candidate who can really communicate how we are going to change things and turn things around in Britain.
But you didn't change things, Foreign Secretary, if I may respectfully say. There were 15 tax hikes and you supported them all. But I would also say, I mean, the good news is 82% say she's our woman of our viewers saying, right, they want you. And you say, we'll tackle the rising cost of living. Absolutely right. 2/3 of people, that's the main priority for them. That's the good news. The bad news is
If I could just say, Eamon, if I could just...
Yeah.
Sorry, if I could just say, Eamon, on the national insurance rise, I opposed that in Cabinet at the time. I said it was a bad idea at the time. But I'm a loyal person. I respect Cabinet collective responsibility. So once the decision had been made, I was obliged to respect that decision. But I've always been clear it was a mistake breaking our manifesto commitment and putting up taxes. And I would never have done that if I had been Chancellor or Prime Minister.
Well, take that on board. Thank you for that. But I just wanted to say the good news was it was all going your way and you're on the money with the rising cost of living. That's what matters to people. The bad news is with cutting taxes and your view about cutting taxes, next most important item to people, this is according to an Ipsos survey today, is public services such as the NHS and schools. So here's my question to you. How do you reconcile cutting taxes with supporting the public services?
Well, the way that we're going to fund our public services, and I'm very committed to building the 40 new hospitals we've promised and continuing to fund the NHS and education, is to get economic growth up. The fact is we've had low economic growth for 2 decades, and what that means is a lack of opportunities, a lack of new jobs, a lack of new businesses. By reducing taxes and by taking the full advantage of all the opportunities of Brexit, we can get economic growth going. And for me, economic growth isn't just numbers on a page. It is about a new job, a new business, making sure the towns and cities across the country that we've promised levelling up to get those spades in the ground, they get those new projects going. That is what we can deliver if we unleash economic growth, if we get rid of a lot of the bureaucracy and the red tape that's still on our statute books from the EU. So as well as doing those tax cuts, I would have a programme of massive reforms to our economy to get our growth rate up. That will fund our public services in the future.
Liz Truss, I just want to ask you about something you said on Sunday night during the ITV debate, where you said, I might not be one of the most polished candidates standing here before you. And lots of comments been made in recent days about it. I think it's very often unfair, actually, targeted at women, and you may feel the same way. But I just want to ask you, people want to know a little bit about the person behind the face they've known. You've been in cabinet for a decade now. Tell us something about Liz Truss, the person, something that might amaze or amuse us. And, whether or not that might be that you're going to get the steamer out and remove the gold wallpaper when you get into number 10, whatever it might be.
Like you support Man U or something. Something's going to do you a bit of good.
Believe me, Isabel, I'm not going to have time to be thinking about the wallpaper in number 10 because we've only got 2 years till a general election. We need to hit the ground running. We need to get on with changing our economy to really deliver for people right across the country. So I'm not going to be thinking about wallpaper. I think maybe the one thing people don't know about me is I do love 1980s music and I do love karaoke. So as well
What's
as
your
working
go-to
hard,
song?
I like to enjoy music as well. My favourite song is I Want to Dance by Whitney Houston.
Good tune. I love that. I can see you walking on stage to that song if you win.
But listen, if you do win, and whoever wins Foreign Secretary, would you rule out either working over Rishi Sunak or under Rishi Sunak?
No, I wouldn't, because after this leadership contest, the most important thing is that we unite as a party and that we defeat Keir Starmer at the election. And we need all our players on the pitch. During this leadership election so far, we've had fantastic candidates present themselves, Penny, Kemi, Tom Tugendhat, Rishi. And we need to make sure that those talents are being fully used as part of a new Conservative vision.
Now look, for the past few months, whether you care to admit it or not, you've been doing well. You've been cultivating an image. You get certain pictures. There are those who would say, with the kitten bow and everything else and the tanks and all that, you're sort of trying to be aligned or making people hark back to Margaret Thatcher. But there are other people who would say, well, she's no more than a Margaret Thatcher tribute act. What would you say to that?
It is quite frustrating that female politicians always get compared to Margaret Thatcher, whereas male politicians don't get compared to Ted Heath. So I think we need to equalise the scales.
I think Rishi Sunak would like to be compared to Margaret Thatcher, wouldn't he?
Well, look, I think we all know what's been happening in government, and as Foreign Secretary, I've been somebody who's been prepared to take on Whitehall, to take the bold decisions, whether it's on the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill, whether it's on the trade deals I struck, including with Australia and Japan. I've pushed those things through and I've made stuff happen. And I think that's what people are going to care about in this leadership election. We've got 2 years to deliver for people. We can't continue with having the highest tax rates for 70 years. We've got to cut taxes, we've got to get the economy going, and we've got to really hit the ground running in September.
Liz Truss, Prime Minister, does it have a ring about it?
I believe it does. And I believe that I'm somebody that can not only deliver the change we need and deliver the promises we made to people in 2019, but I can also go on and win the next general election.
Well, we very much look forward to talking to you many times over the next 6 weeks. Thank you for making the time to talk to us this morning. We really appreciate it. Foreign Secretary, possible future Prime Minister Liz Truss. Thank you.